I want to figure out why you're so desperate. I don't understand it. I'm not desperate at all. We have Chubb and Brees Hall.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's not live? Where do we go? I thought that's what you did the hand signal for. Let's get it going, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls out there of the world. Tanner, cut the music. Cut the music. God dang it, cut the music. We are back once again here to the Sports Buffoon Studios once again in Lenexa, Kansas. And of course, we had to have that little intro thrown in there for you guys. Coolio, rest in peace, passed away at 59 years old. Gangsta Paradise. Is that what you're feeling, JG? How you
It's a
feel
legendary
about
song, man. It's legendary. I mean, that's when I first started listening to rap music. And what can I say about that song? It's amazing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of the classics of all
one
rap,
of the best.
like 90s
One of
rap,
the best.
basically. It's kind of one of those things that was just perfect for that time period and kind of helped propel some things we saw in the hip hop and rap world as time went on, going into the early 2000s, I would say. So, Tanner, what's your thoughts on Mr. Coolio?
Rest in paradise, man. Rest in paradise. It's
Yeah.
sad to see some of the legends go like this, but everybody gets their time.
Yeah, wherever paradise may be is a little more gangsta today, I would say. So, with all that said, guys, regardless, how are you feeling right now, Tanner? You have left the studio for a second. So, JG, how are you doing, man? What's going on? What's on your mind?
Doing great, man. I do want to throw out there though that was, in my opinion, not Coolio's best song of all time. Fantastic Voyage was my favorite Coolio song of all time. But
there we go. This reminds me.
We're doing great. We're doing great.
We've done a lot of that over the years. We did one with R. Kelly, where we talked about our favorite R. Kelly songs. We did that a few months ago.
That was fun.
And that was fun to go back in time and listen to some of his most effed up songs he's written anyway, which is it's good stuff to do that kind of thing.
Still alive, by the way. So
R. Kelly's he's still kicking, but somehow R. Kelly gets to live, and Coolio is gone now. So, Tanner, what kind of impact did Mr. Coolio make on you? Because you being Mr. DJ, Mr. Hip Hop himself, any influence throughout your life with Coolio?
I mean, obviously he influenced a lot of the music I listen to, Jason listens to, right? Me and Jason are pretty similar on our paths of music. He really influenced a lot of that going into play, outside of also enhancing what became rap and essentially hip hop, what we know today. So, he definitely made his impact throughout his years as a producer, as a writer as well, on top of a rapper. So, it's one of those things. It's just sad to see him go.
All right. Well, guys, to the sports news we got. We have a lot to talk about today, of course. Chiefs game is going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. I'd be surprised to see if we end up seeing them continue to play in Tampa Bay. As the way things are looking right now, things are left to be up to the hurricane gods of the world, I would say.
Right.
Otherwise, you guys should be happy about your boy over for the Yankees. Get another home run, right?
Yep. Judge tied Roger Maris with 61 today after being walked 4 times yesterday. So there's that. Maybe he can get a couple more here and maybe get to 63 or 64 before the end of the year. Only a week left from today, guys. Regular season's done. Next Wednesday on our show. So that's the final day of regular season MLB. We had
a long talk about this last week, as a matter of fact, as far as what's going on with the Yankees and what's going on with Aaron Judge. And I'm glad to see things kind of unfolding. And it was just always a matter of time, in my opinion, for him to set some of these records and what he's done as a natural player. But if you guys are interested in hearing what our takes were on that, go ahead and check out last week's episode, because it covers everything up to this point, basically, of what's gone on throughout the baseball situation of the Yankees and Aaron Judge and the history he's making himself right now. So, but I'm going to crack open this Wicked Pickle whiskey, which is over from Weston, Missouri, as a matter of fact. Tanner, you're over there saying your whole house is going to smell like pickles. But I'm going to say
30 cases of pickles in one bottle. Hey, what's up, Diggs? Thanks for joining, dude.
Diggs. All right. So speaking of Diggs, you guys, I saw Trayvon Diggs had the game-winning interception at the end of the Cowboys game. So kudos to them for finding a way to wrap things up over there and get a victory for the Cowboys. But I feel like that's one of those teams they've won 3 games now with Cooper Rush. Is that right?
Two games. They're
but
2-1.
Rush,
2-0
Rush
with
finished
Cooper
off
Rush.
for the first game. I mean, he helped finish it off, I guess.
So, after they were already down 25 points.
It's just a side note, but my friend from LA, the Cowboys fan, he had talked to me about Cooper Rush and how much he's starting to like the way he plays, and it's because he gets rid of the ball quickly. He doesn't take sacks, and he gets these quick time to release type of guy.
It's also we talked to this on Buffoon and Bodkins too. It's on Monday nights during Monday Night Football. It's more of a more simple game plan coming into play with Cooper Rush too. You have nothing fancy like you would have with Dak. There's no crazy plays going to play. It's run the ball and get the ball out of your hands as quick as possible. So it's a pretty simple game plan like you would usually have with a backup quarterback.
Very good point. Well, you guys, we have not spoken yet about the Chiefs since the loss to the Colts this past Sunday. And so let's dig in a little bit to that for just a minute as far as what we are foreseeing for the Chiefs situation at the moment. Obviously, this past week was very frustrating. It was almost irritating games we've seen and witnessed here in Chiefs Kingdom in quite a while. I mean, I say quite a while, but really since the AFC championship game.
Yeah.
The second half of that game in particular. But this whole game with Colts was frustrating because it was a special teams disaster. I mean, from the get-go, Sky Moore muffing the punt, and then from then on, Matt Amendola going out there and missing kicks, and which he was released, of course, and Harrison Butker is looking to be starting once again, or at least given the opportunity to go out there and kick. If something goes wrong, I'm sure Justin Reed could step in again to at least attempt a few kicks if needed, if necessary. But just looking at the Chiefs situation, I think that we're talking about going against now the Buccaneers, who also is a team who has underwhelmed so far to this point, losing to the Packers 14-12.
Yep.
And I feel like we're in a situation right now where the winner of this game coming up against the Buccaneers, is going to be very excited about the future, because one team's going to end up 2-2 after this. One team's going to end up 3-1, but those are such huge differences at the end of the day with kicking off your first quarter of the season, as Todd Haley used to phrase things. And really, you feel so much better whenever you're in the positive on that first quarter going into the rest of that season. And the Chiefs need to take advantage of the situation at hand, because the situation at hand is this game likely will be moved to what sounds like Minnesota is the destination of choice.
So the update here, looking at the radar, there's still a lot of heavy rain coming into play for Tampa, but the eye is now in the middle of Florida. So that has moved inland a lot more. So it is weakening. Now it's just becoming more heavy rain and thunderstorms. So with it being only Wednesday coming into play, there's actually a pretty good shot. I think we might get Tampa yet.
Basically, this would pass over before.
So
the game.
All this would be moved north by the time Thursday night, Friday morning comes around. So that gives them a couple days to see what they can do. I know they were expecting to announce the decision tomorrow. I highly doubt that unless there's major damage tomorrow that when they go assess it. But I think still that there's a possible chance that Tampa still gets that home game.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if the hurricane has already kind of passed by, or at least moving up north there, then the game could still obviously be played in Tampa Bay. I would say that there probably would be a fraction of the fans that you would normally see at a game like that.
Well, yeah, because they're all scattered. So the good thing about this hurricane is it actually moved hit Florida inland south of Tampa by probably a couple hours, which is best case scenario for Tampa Bay. So the fact that happened, now it's just dealing with a lot of heavy rain. I mean, that was the best case scenario for Tampa.
Right. And the game obviously has been scheduled for Sunday Night Football here this coming week. So if the game was to be moved, I assume they would probably replace it with the Bills and Ravens game would somehow be switched over into that spot. I think there's something in the contracts there that makes that game movable if something was to go wrong. But anyways, guys, with all that said, how are we feeling right now? I mean, Jason, what are your thoughts on going forward into this week against Tampa Bay, and even some of the weather situation that is kind of left to be remained to see?
Well, I'm pretty well convinced that this game will be played in Tampa. Like, I was a meteorologist in my previous life, and I'm watching this radar as we speak, and I'm just like, okay, this is not as bad, at least for the city of Tampa, that we all thought it was going to be. You know, I would love for it to be played in Minneapolis because we all know that Chiefs fans travel.
They would travel,
and Tampa Bay fans they never travel. They can't even go to the home games.
Right. Why would you go to Minneapolis? If you're from Tampa Bay, you're damn sure not going to Minneapolis.
Right. And they don't even really show up to the home games. And so I firmly believe that this game will be played in Tampa. And you know, I'm looking forward to the game. I don't really feel bad like a lot of people do about losing to Indianapolis, because I think we saw that record of Indianapolis being 0-1-1 before the game, and I'm like, you know, a lot of people thought, wow, we just lost to a shitty team.
They really
they're probably going to win the division, but even if they don't, you're talking about a first-year quarterback with a brand new head coach, brand new team, Matt Ryan. He's been on the Falcons his whole freaking life. And like, let's give this guy a few games to get up to speed. And so I don't view the Colts to be a bad team like most people do. So like, when I looked at last week's game, I'm just like, we didn't lose to a bad game, to a bad team. Like, we lost to a pretty good team in the Colts. And like, you know, obviously we didn't have Trent McDuffie or Willie Gay. I thought the defense did okay, only giving up 20 points. I mean, it just it all comes down to one play here, one play there. Obviously, we had Chris Jones, you know, in the moment. I was really pissed off. I like, wow, this guy is going to single-handedly lose us the game. He apologized after the game, and I don't think that's going to be an issue going forward. I think Chris Jones is a guy who learned from that issue.
But I do want to say he's been known for some of the mouth in the past. This is not his first time experience with that. I don't know what he said. Matt Ryan seemed to not give a damn what he said.
No.
Apparently, a single referee had a problem with some word he used, and that's what cost the Chiefs.
Here's my theory on this as well for that Chris Jones penalty. Everybody's just saying he's talking words. Sure, they trash talk. The issue was when the play ended, both Chris Jones and Matt Ryan stood up. They stayed in the same spot. Instead of just running separate ways and trash talking while you're running off the field, they stayed in the same spot with the ref nearby, and Chris Jones was the one talking about it for a little longer than he probably should. And we all know in that case, the NFL referees are so sensitive that if you're in there for that spot a little longer talking to an NFL quarterback, you're going to get hit with a penalty. And unfortunately, that's what happened.
The crappy part about this was that it was going to be fourth down. And that penalty at that moment of the game,
it would have taken the Colts off the field.
Literally, probably had a huge impact on the Chiefs taking a loss on this one, because it continued their drive, allowed them to continue to go down, get a touchdown at the end of that drive. And, you know, whenever you're a defense and you make a stop and all that, and you here it is, you're thinking, okay, walk off the field. All of a sudden, there's a flag. Oh no, the drive resumes. It's kind of deflating in a lot of ways. It really is disheartening and deflating. And you're like, okay, I did my job. Here I am, almost all the way to the sideline, and then here we go. What's that yellow stuff on the ground? Right? Oh, thanks, Chris.
Yep. Yeah, the worst part is the vet
frustrating.
Doing it.
It's frustrating.
And at the same time, when Patrick Mahomes, somebody grabs his face mask and they do throw a flag, and then all of a sudden the flag gets picked up. At what point do we start to think about, okay, this game might be fixed? Because there should have been a flag thrown when they grabbed Mahomes' face mask.
That's the difference between stuff you can control and stuff you can't control. You can't control the refs being thrown on BS flags or not throwing current flags.
But that's all it takes, dude. One call here or there changes the entire momentum to a game.
You have to do what in high school baseball, and also when I was coaching high school rec, the big thing I told the guys, I go, you can't control the balls and strikes out there. What you can do is control your own destiny, your own opportunities coming to play. Chris Jones did not control that opportunity coming to play.
Do you guys remember? I mean, now this is the time period when Travis has already figured it out, but Travis Kelce in the first 3 years of his career was getting the Chiefs into trouble all the time. And it felt like game after game after game. And the thing is, we forgave him for it because of how great of a player he was.
It kind of rotated between him and Marcus Peters those couple of years.
We kind of allowed it to happen as a fan base because we're just like, well, he's really freaking good. In fact, he's the best in the league. So Let's not get that upset about it. I mean, we take the good with the bad. Travis matured as time went on and literally has been wonderful the last 5 years or so in his career about knowing when to temper those emotions he has and the smack talk and all the other nonsense or the jerk off motions he did in the past or throwing a flag back at a referee, throwing a towel at a referee, whatever. Chris Jones is one of those guys who also he is a talker. Chris Jones is a talker. Yes. He also is one of those guys that can be emotionally driven at times. Not to where he goes to the extent of what Travis did back in the day, but I think he likes to trash talk. I think that's one of parts of his game. But it makes me think like, okay, Chris Jones is a D tackle. One of the best trash talkers of all time was John Randall. And we're going to sit there and what if John Randall played in today's league? Which he'd fit well in today's league, by the way.
He would.
One of those undersized D tackles, fast as hell, very, very similar to Aaron Donald. Imagine putting him in this league. Would we be seeing flags every day? Would his career be tarnished due to penalties? Or, at some point, can we just say, okay, these are all adult men, unless you're throwing out some real profanities, we need to keep the flags in our pocket.
He would have some problems. He would have problems in today's game because, let's be honest, the NFL officials and the NFL itself, everybody's just so much more sensitive now than they were back in John Randall's time. And it's unfortunate that we have to bring that out, but...
And the NFL is a lot more sensitive. We all know that.
Yeah.
So...
Right, but here's the thing. We don't even know what the hell Chris Jones said.
No.
We have no one to be offended. No one's offended but this one referee who apparently heard something that he didn't like.
Yeah.
And otherwise, the fan bases, the people out there.
I tell you what, that referee,
don't know.
He must have heard a word that he's never heard before in his whole life to the point where it was just like, I've never heard that word before. I must
Whatever it
flag.
is, I would love to know it so that I could start adding it to my repertoire of usage out there. But anyways, guys, a little off-topic rant right there, I suppose. But regardless, yeah, it was frustrating because of special teams, I think, in that game.
Special teams was the big part of it.
I think the Chiefs need to get back to the basics in some ways in the running game a little bit more. And, I like the idea of mixing in more of Isaiah Pacheco as time goes on, where we saw one drive with Pacheco in this game. Otherwise, we saw a lot of McKinnon in on third downs. Clyde had a pretty good game in the receiving game. But why are the Chiefs... Why am I asking this? It's Andy Reid.
I was like, "What are you?"
It's Andy Reid. Why are the Chiefs so quick to move away from rushing situations?
I feel like we're asking that same question.
We don't learn our lessons.
Too. Why is the Bills go away from the running game? Why do the Chiefs go away from the running game? It's both.
Well, you're gonna have the same situation with Doug Peterson and the Jags. He doesn't want to run the ball either.
Well, he does. James Robinson.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but they're going to be eventually a pass first.
And you guys know this. Speaking of the Colts, I've been frustrated in the past about how the Chiefs took Clyde Edwards-Helaire over Jonathan Taylor. And I at the time when that pick was made, I'm going, well, if you're going to go running back, I would have rather had Jonathan Taylor at that time. Although Clyde, I was like, I could see how he could mix into the offense, be a great pass catching, kind of a back, change of pace, whatever. I could see how this would work. He might catch 50 passes a year. He might be our Darren Sproles type of guy. And it remains to be seen about how good he can be. But Jonathan Taylor probably would have been misused in this offense. Yes. Due to the style and scheme and Andy Reid being stubborn at times, where I think maybe being with the Colts ended up being, honestly, for his career's sake, the best thing he could have had.
The best thing that could happen.
And, hey, the Chiefs went out there actually and defensively and actually did a great job shutting them down. I do want to point that out. And if you told me that going into week 3, the Chiefs were going to hold Jonathan Taylor to 70 yards rushing, 0 touchdowns, and take a loss, I would have told you you're insane. I would have told you, did Patrick Mahomes get injured? I would have been like, there's no freaking way. And it happened. So
yeah, and I don't want to spoil everything before we do our Chiefs show. You can check it out on Settling the Kingdom that we'll post out on Friday. But this upcoming game for Sunday night has kind of similarities going to play like we came up with against the Colts. The Colts the week before, the Chiefs were missing a bunch of weapons. No Michael Pittman, no Alec Pierce, no. There was another receiver that was out. No Shaq Leonard. Obviously, Shaq Leonard ended up not playing versus Chiefs. Michael Pittman came back. Alec Pierce came back, and we saw those weapons. How important they were.
Jelani Woods ended up being their best player in the red zone.
Right, I know how crazy.
Tight end catches his first 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
goes out there, makes the plays. Michael Pittman really didn't do much against the Chiefs.
He still had, I think, 74 yards
around there. But for him, it wasn't the best day.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't fantabulous, but it was still a guy that Matt Ryan can go out there and trust when he needed to make a throw. Something similar coming into play versus the Bucs. Last week, Mike Evans was suspended a game. Chris Godwin out with the injury. Julio Jones ended up being a game-time decision, missing the game. So they really had Henry Ruggs and Scotty Miller out there going into play. This week, they should get Godwin back. He's out practicing. Evans will come back. Julio Jones right now is questionable. We'll see if he ends up actually playing. But, I mean, there's already 3 guys right there that Tom Brady's missing that could be coming back against the Chiefs.
Right, and we have Hardman right now, did not participate in practice today. So we'll see as time goes on here, as practice goes on throughout the week, who comes back and who's limited, who's going to be a full participant, and those kind of things. We'll figure that out here as time goes on. Still early in the week, obviously.
We'll still got time on that. Shout out to Carlos here for commenting in. Appreciate it. He says Chiefs it's starting too slow, need to attack. And then, of course, he says Matty Ice. So,
yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, Matt Ryan is one of those weirdest players
such a weird
ever.
guy.
I mean, he's a guy that can go out there and literally crap the bed and just like no big deal. He can go against the Panthers, crap the bed.
I know.
Then he'll go play against the Chiefs, or he'll go play against just any other team of note that has been better in the past, and somehow figure out ways to win. Even though he didn't even look that good, somehow he didn't turn the ball over. Just good enough and mattered.
Just go out there and try not to screw up, I guess.
It's a team that the Chiefs could have put away because
should have put
looking
away.
at the AFC South situation, the Jaguars are now 2-0, actually sit as your number 2 seed in the NFL, just behind the Dolphins as your number 1 seed in the AFC. The Colts could have been 0-2-1 and really climbing up a hill. Now it's like, okay, they're right back in the mix.
1-1-1.
Right back in the mix of things, and wins like that are going to be crazy. It's one of those wins. If you're a Colts fan, which I don't know many of them, if you are a Colts fan, though, you look back at the end of this season and see how teams ended up. You're going to go, wow, that showed us what we're really capable of and why we got to this point. Or you're going to sit back and go, wow, we stole one against the NFL's best AFC team, or kind of one of those things.
And granted, things did roll our way into the end. Chargers losing to the Jags by a lot. That was a big thing with Herbert's playing. The Raiders raidering out against the Titans. And then the Broncos, of course, pulling out a late touchdown to beat the 49ers. So, granted, the Broncos are kind of in the mix record-wise. Obviously, threat-wise, not very high. But, yeah, the Chiefs got lucky with a couple losses in the division.
This NFL season has been very, very weird.
In fact, completely.
I'm normally really, really good at picking winners. Now, the betting lines are different, but picking just winners, I'm really, really good at picking the money line. Like I can pick who's going to win each game. This year, I'm like 50-50. It's sad. It's pathetic. I don't know what's going on right now. We're gonna figure this thing out, though.
my biggest issue is there's been so much build up to this Chiefs-Bucks game to the point where people are saying, "Oh my gosh, whoever wins this game, dude, it's fucking week 4." Okay, it's okay for one of these teams to go 2-2 and still have a successful season. So don't listen to these media idiots out there that will try to tell you, "Oh my gosh, if you drop to 2-2." Oh, that's going to be such a downer. Meanwhile, the 3-1 team is going to build so much confidence. That's not how it works in the NFL, okay? It's week fucking 4, so get over it.
Look, we still have 4 more weeks of hell going into play. We got the Bucks, we got the Raiders, we got the Bills, we got the Niners if they decide to figure life out again. And then we got a bye week, and then I think we play the Titans. So, we're not out of the weeds just yet here on the next 5 games.
Yeah, we can talk Chiefs a little bit more. Obviously, maybe like we said here, Tanner, Friday, somewhere around then. I'll actually be on my way to Manhattan directly after work. By the way, going out to stay out there for the K-State game. I'll be
lucky
staying out there, getting
team right there.
But by the way, I'm going out there to root for Texas Tech. So
good.
My newfound team, ever since we drafted Patrick Mahomes, is Texas Tech. So I'm actually going to the K-State game in Manhattan wearing my Patrick Mahomes Texas Tech t-shirt.
Is Mahomes going to be there? Is he going to watch that game?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Get his autograph.
He might be here.
You need to get his damn autograph.
They'll be in Florida.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Saturday.
Yeah, they'll be
busy. He'll be busy. Or if it's moved to Minneapolis, he might be at the game. There's a chance he could be at the game then.
If it moved to Minnesota.
It's an early game. It starts at 11. So, But anyways, I'm going out Friday night, staying the night, and then getting up early and going to the game. And and rooting.
Yes,
for
Manhattan,
Texas Tech.
Kansas, Carlos. Manhattan, Kansas.
Yes, not Manhattan, New York. Carlos, calm down.
He ain't going up that
And
way.
I hope he got a chance. Was it Carlos last week that was listening to some of our Dolphins takes?
No, that was Johnny.
Johnny
Cruz.
was on last week.
Yeah.
I hope they made a damn bet. That's all I want.
So right,
Well,
he's in the middle of
bet.
he's in the middle of losing power and not. He's in the middle of Florida right now. So yeah, he's dealing with all
That's
that
brutal.
nuts thing
Well,
going on.
We've talked Dolphins quite a bit here lately, but I want to talk more about teams that have.
Real quick, sorry, Carlos said if you ever come to NYC Manhattan, we can catch a Jets Giants game. So
I would love to go to
So there you go.
Yeah, I would
That'd be
love to do
great.
something like that one of these days and check that out. I've actually never been east of
Ohio.
Ohio. Yeah, that's probably about right.
Yeah.
I guess
No,
Nashville
Ohio?
for me.
I've been Kentucky.
I haven't been east. You went to
Kentucky.
Atlanta,
I went to Alabama,
Alabama area,
which is
so
like way further south of what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. I'm
But
talking more like East Coast.
for me,
stuff.
Nashville is my furthest east. I've been.
Nashville.
Oh, I know. I went to Orlando.
Oh well,
honeymoon,
that's
so I'm good. Never mind.
you've been to the southeast. Then, I
Yeah, I'm
guess,
good.
but Apparently, it's a whole
Carlos-
different culture out there.
Carl said he get you tickets for free.
Hey, I think we should make it a guys trip and just find a way to get out there somehow. I got airline points I can use for a free,
Hey, let's see
flight.
Let's see how this football season goes for betting. All right.
That's true. I don't want to brag too much. I'm doing okay though. But anyways, guys, speaking of the Dolphins and their success, I'm very, very happy about that. If you guys remember, even back 5-6 months ago at the end of the NFL season last year, I told y'all watch these Dolphins. I would love to bring that back up again, and I want to go back and find what it is exactly I said. But I needed to make a point to tell y'all about the Dolphins, how good they were going to be. That's before Tyreek.
Oh yeah.
But it was all about how their defense is going to be awesome. Tua is going to be a good player, and so on. But they made all these additions, obviously, and it's been a huge impact on the team. Now, how about some of these teams though that have made some awesome additions, but now have totally lost their steam? All the hype is gone, and now you're going to be lucky if they make the playoffs, because there's a few of those that have happened. And we went into this season, you guys, talking about how jacked up the AFC West was going to be, and now we're like, well, y'all poop the bed pretty hard here. It's a huge problem. Y'all suck.
My 10 wins for each team plus is not working out so far. Just so you guys know.
And
Right.
apparently the Broncos don't suck as bad as we thought they were. They actually have a winning record. So.
That-
well, yeah, they got a
no.
winning record, but they only
I'm
have
not
like,
even getting into that.
what do they got?
right
Like
now.
20 points total.
But we all, dude, we
In
all
3
thought they
weeks?
were the worst team in the division. Now they got a winning record.
They very well might be the worst
Hey.
team in the division still.
They will be.
Just telling you that
still will
right
be
now.
The worst team in the division.
But I want to talk about, guys, who is your most disappointing team through 3 weeks of the NFL season? It doesn't need to be an AFC West team. It could be anybody. Just tell me, who are you most upset about their failures?
Which team?
Yeah, or player. You could say, hey, you've got a player.
I got a player,
What's a player?
and I'm mainly mad because of fantasy value.
Oh, well,
I already kind of talked to you guys
it's a
about
personal
it a little
problem.
bit before the show. But Darnell Mooney, Mooney, you get
Brutal.
rid of A-Rob, okay? You get rid of
That guy,
A-Rob,
brutal.
okay? You bring in a guy like Brian Pringle out, right? Equanimous St. Brown that came from the Packers, right? I believe the Packers last year is like your leading receiver. Mooney's nowhere to be found right now. I'm still waiting if anybody's seen him come out yet or catch a ball. So
I need to have a long talk with Ryan Larson at some point about some of his fantasy guys, because there not I don't have a problem with Mooney, but there were some guys he threw out there that I think he and I disagreed on. But otherwise, I love Ryan, by the way, out there, those of you listening. So not any kind of hate. I think he is awesome. I love what he's doing, what he's putting out there. But I think he and I could have had some more debates about fantasy over the course of the offseason. But Mooney's situation is weird, because you expected to eventually kind of end up getting up there. It's gonna come back around. Some guys have slow start. Devontae Smith had 0 points in week 1, and now here in the past 2 weeks has put up great numbers. Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes guys start slow and end up picking it up.
Here's
as
the
time
thing
goes
about
on.
the Bears, real quick. Nobody wants to be there. Okay, Roquan Smith doesn't want to be
True.
there.
it's true.
Justin Fields probably doesn't want to be there. He's not going to say it out loud. Nobody wants to play for that fucking team. So, like, at some point it becomes a culture problem. Yeah. Like, if you are a part of a losing culture, then you have to then why does Mooney want to be there? Why does Justin Fields want to be there? Why does anybody want to be there? So at some point, you're on your rookie contract and you're just like, okay, I'm trying to find my way here, but whenever it happens, it's not going to be for this team. And so it's just a bad culture there. And like, if I'm looking at Mooney as a fantasy option, dude, I told you this earlier, Tanner, if you cut him, I will not pick him up because that team is a disaster.
Yeah, he'll still be stashed. I think here's the issue coming to play is the Bears offense obviously sucks, right? But the most issue is they're not giving Justin Fields a chance to throw the ball. You're looking at the last 3 games, the San Francisco game, which was a muddy, water-filled game versus the 49ers. You expect more of a run game, right? It has 17 attempts going to play. Green Bay game, Sunday Night Football, a lot better in Lambeau, going to play, a lot better situation. He only threw 11 times, Justin Fields. Last week against Houston, again, weather was actually good. Everything was fine. He only threw for 17 times again in Chicago. We're talking a quarterback. Your starting quarterback is throwing the ball no more than 17 times a game. That is not a winning formula for one. Granted, they're 2-1. They're 2-1, but at the same time, you can't sustain off of that, and your receivers are going to be really upset come soon because you're only completing 8, 7, 8. Same percentage each game for the 17, 7 for 11 in Green Bay's game.
Is this going to be like
this is bad?
Is this going to be like the Nick Foles Bears where they start the season 5-0 and then shit the bed?
This is already worse than the Nick Foles Bears.
But they're 2-1. I mean,
because I think Nick Foles at least threw 20 times a game.
Let me tell you. That defense that's a good defense.
It's a good defense.
But I'm telling you, when the defense
Herbert's good, Montgomery's
when the defense is that good and the offense is that bad, it is so deflating. When you're on the defensive side of the ball, you do all that work and you're successful, and then you look at the offense side of the ball and you're like, why the hell did I show up to work today?
It's so bad.
And then it's so deflating for those guys.
So I guess I expected more of the Bears. I expected more of Mooney at this point, but now it kind of makes sense. If I did have to
get the short passing game going, Mooney's a guy that would work well in a short passing game, even wide receiver screen, stuff like that, quick slants, whatever. He doesn't need to be a downfield threat. You can get him worked in underneath, and that's what's like. They're not even trying. They're not even trying to get that aspect going.
No.
And if you do that, like I'm just thinking about Justin Fields and his future still, and I've told you guys 100 times how bad I feel for him in the situation he's in. You will never become a good quarterback in this situation with this kind of coaching, with this kind of scheme. It's just not going to work. You will not get the experience you deserve.
Let me ask you this right quick, Mike. So is Justin Fields a candidate for Geno Smith syndrome where they're going to ruin his career?
It's already there.
It's already there.
It's already there. It's already happening right now as we speak. And hey, the cool thing is Geno has made himself a career in the NFL. Yes, it's mainly been a backup. He's not been a spectacular starter in his career so far, but he's at least been around long enough to. He's 30 now. He's 30 and made it this far.
Unbelievable.
And the Jets ruined him from day one. And I feel like after that point, it was kind of like game over right out the gate. And could he have at some point if he was in a better situation, like say we had drafted him with that first overall pick over Eric Fisher and Andy Reid took him under his wing, Geno would have been better than what he turned out to be.
Yeah.
Would he have been what Mahomes? Absolutely not. No, he's not the same guy as Mahomes. But he would have been better. He would have, let's pretend like the Chiefs had Alex Smith and Geno, and then we had Alex for 2 years, and Geno took over in year 3. Geno would have had a kickstart to his career and been on the path to put up something better than Teddy Bridgewater. I'll put it that way.
So you get a guy that was a backup the last 6 years, right? Coming to play for Seattle, starts right away, has thrown over 102 attempts this year already, right? Compared to Justin Fields, who's your your solid starter. You got a 28, a 30, and a 44 attempts. That's just attempts. So obviously we know where the Bears are, right? They're broken. It's broken still, even with the new regime. It's broken. Bad. Trust your quarterback. Let him throw the ball. You can't get anywhere.
Jacksonville. Look at Jacksonville.
Look at him. Trevor Lawrence out here.
Trevor Lawrence out there, #1 overall pick. And Doug Peterson's going, this is your time, man.
This
is your time. Let's go. You got talent around you. Put all the faith you can into your young quarterback. The Bears are like, we don't trust you. The Bears are like, we're too scared. Yeah, we're 2-1. You found a way to fucking muster up 2 wins. That's
against
awesome.
the Texans and the Niners.
They found a way to muster up 2 wins, and without any kind of faith whatsoever in the future of their quarterback. Meanwhile, like I said, Jacksonville, even though they're also 2-1, they're doing it sexy, right? Jacksonville's got out there and put up 38 against the Chargers, and Trevor Lawrence has really taken a huge leap from year 1 to year 2. That's what you need. Fields is still being hindered by his staff and by his team around him. And when you do that, you're looking at a long-term problem for the development of this player. And really, he won't be a Bear very long because of that. And I feel bad for him.
I do want to shout out here, Carlos. I did tune away from the screen. Carlos says Mooney's hanging out with Waldo. The culture, of course, Chicago, which we've already known the last few years, is really bad. Bears will be okay for 2024 season. Not if he's attempting 20 or less passes a game.
We don't know yet, man. That's
Fields is scared of interceptions. Something's wrong with play calling. And then Jets can't draft or produce quarterbacks. What is not play to call? Just PTSD.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the Jets a little bit later.
Yeah. Well, anyways, guys, the whole point is most disappointing players or teams so far to this point. So
yeah. So that's mine. Chicago Bears and Darnell Mooney.
Mooney is his main one. It's hard to be disappointed in Fields when you're not really like even given an opportunity to do anything, I guess. But Jason, who do you got on your list?
Most disappointing for me right now, guys, is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. And it's not because I love that city so much that I always call Las Vegas my second home. It's because of the fact that they are 0-3, and I had high expectations for Josh McDaniels. I thought that he was going to turn that program around. I still think he's going to turn it around. I mean, 0-3 is not something that you cannot overcome, but I'm just disappointed in the start. I'm disappointed in the entire AFC West minus the Chiefs, because I thought that the Broncos would be in last place. So technically they've overachieved, but the Chargers are not what you guys thought they were. They are what I thought they were. So when we did our little previews before the season started, I told you guys the Chargers will be the Chargers. I couldn't give you a reason why, but I said they get injured every single year.
Yep.
For whatever reason, it doesn't matter. That's exactly what's happened.
No Slater, no Bosa.
Big disappointment for them. The entire division for me so far is a big disappointment. Like I said, minus the Chiefs, but the Raiders I had at the end of the season, and I still have them. I still have them in second place by the end of the year. I think they're going to turn this thing around. But the defense is not very good. And I just think that Derek Carr is a good quarterback. And I just don't see this trending the way that it's trending right now. I think they're going to get things turned around. But for me, it's the Raiders. Obviously, they brought on Devontae Adams to try to improve their passing game. And
Chandler Jones on the defense, too.
Yeah.
I mean, they've added pieces of the
defense,
defense, and it's not good at all. They just lost. The Cardinals' only win is against the Raiders.
Yeah, and I watched the end of that game, and I mean, that could have gone either way. But I fully expect them to turn this thing around, because they're still better than the Chargers, and they're better than the Broncos.
Well, the opportunity comes, right? I thought it started. I thought it was going to start this last week against Tennessee, especially after Tennessee got the beat down against the Bills going into play. Obviously not going to play. But now they got Denver. They got the Chiefs. Obviously, I think they'll lose that game. But then you go in and you got Houston, New Orleans, Jacksonville, and Indy before you play Denver again. Those are all winnable games. Very, very winnable games going to play for Raiders. And I mean, obviously, if they go into Houston 0-5, don't you start starting the rumors of Derek Carr is looking elsewhere next year?
Well, he's not. Well, Jason just said he thinks Derek Carr is a good quarterback, and I've always said the other.
He's good.
I've always said he's not good enough.
He's good. He's not great.
He's never
but he's good enough.
Been good, and he's never been good enough. If he's been good enough, he would have made it happen by now.
So let's look at this.
He was drafted in 2013.
Yeah, these last 3 games, right? The Chargers game
12
had a chance to come back, got blitzed beyond belief. felt under pressure, and you saw this guy looking, scanning everywhere for anything, moving his feet up and down. It didn't happen. Chargers splits them. Arizona, fourth quarter, put pressure on Derek Carr. Derek Carr had the pressure in his game. It was a great play by Isaiah Simmons in overtime to get that fumble twice. Isaiah Simmons, Ole North grad, by the way, got that game-winning fumble. Yep. Again, pressure on Carr. Make Carr make the play, and ended up his receiver causing issues two times in a row, back-to-back plays. Tennessee game, your defense actually blew that one. Hate to break it to you. It wasn't necessarily all Carr. That defense blew it. You let the Keen Henry, the big old running back, get 85 yards or 87 yards receiving, 11.6 average. You got to keep that guy contained, obviously.
That's a career day receiving.
That was. It was a big day. He had 85 yards rushing, 87 yards passing or receiving.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'd be a career high, actually, for him.
All you got to do, you already had Kyle Phillips out for Tennessee. Contain Derrick Henry, force Tannehill to beat you. And they couldn't do that.
I just feel like with the Raiders and with the Broncos, it's kind of like a 2 to 3 year project. We all thought they were going to be good or decent in year one, but this is going to be a medium to long term project. And obviously we had low expectations for Denver in year one. I thought Josh McDaniels would be able to pull this thing together with the Raiders in year one. I still think it's going to happen. It's early, but we could be looking more medium to long term with this thing.
Yeah. What did I say during our AFC West preview? Josh McDaniels has a lot to prove, and he failed with the Broncos, and he's got a lot to prove with the Raiders. He's now lost 10 of his last 11 games as a head coach in the NFL. So let's not forget that. Just because he's been around Bill Belichick, we've seen a lot of these guys fail in the NFL, does not mean he's some genius. I think this has been said about probably a dozen different guys now in the NFL. And I think that the Raiders situation, you have the pieces you need to be a great team. You have your Devontae Adams. You have Hunter Renfrow, Derek Carr at this age. There's no time for projects anymore. We're playing around with this word of project. Well, Russell Wilson, you're also 33. Derek Carr is also 33. It's like we don't have time for projects. It's time to win now. This is not a project. You're facing Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert every single goddamn season. We don't have time for that shit.
So here's the other thing I thought about earlier today. Does Josh McDaniels really have anything to prove? Because 4 or 5 years from now, Belichick's going to be retired, and he can slide right in as the Patriots.
Why the hell?
That's a guaranteed job.
That's stupid.
That's a guaranteed job.
It's not going to happen.
You think he has anything to prove?
The hell?
He's playing with house money.
Would they do that?
He's playing with house money.
Would the Patriots, who has been known as a winning franchise for 25 goddamn years, all of a sudden go, well, let's bring in Josh McDaniels, who sucked the Broncos.
Because when Belichick retires,
Stupid.
they have no other choice.
Bring in Rex Ryan.
I can guarantee.
Screw it.
They're not going to bring him.
Better than Josh McDaniels.
I can guarantee you right now, Josh McDaniels fails at this tenure with the Raiders, but
it's over.
A winning record. He is not keyed in on the Patriots job. He is not.
Is he really going to be worse than John Gruden and whatever the hell else?
John Gruden
as a coach is not bad.
That's what I'm saying. Can he really do worse than the Raiders' record from last year? Because that's pretty pathetic.
Record with Gruden or
no? I'm talking about their total record. They made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, he can do worse.
They made the playoffs. Is it possible that it could actually be worse with Josh McDaniels? Because to me, that's pathetic.
Yes,
even in year one.
I'm telling you, there's no reason at all to believe in Josh McDaniels in this NFL as a head coach.
I'm telling you, he's playing with house money, and when Belichick retires, he slides right in.
You were also given house money in sports betting in Kansas this year, but some people
threw
it all away.
And I won.
I'm not talking about you specifically, but some people threw it all away.
So Carlos says, is he the next Wanstead going to play? Then he goes, are you giving Bill 4 to 5 years? Because that's what he's going to need to produce something.
Well, Bill's going to retire in 5 years.
He's the oldest coach in the league.
Carlos goes,
he's going to retire.
McDaniels might not last till tomorrow at this point.
Dude, McDaniels is so young. That's my whole point. Robert Kraft is going to bring him in as the head coach when Bill retires.
Christ, Robert Kraft does not want Josh McDaniels to be the head coach.
Let's just
say, he does.
Two tenures, and you fail in 2 tenures. No owner's bringing you back. No owner's giving you a third opportunity.
Especially a franchise like the Patriots who know what winning looks like.
Well,
The Raiders don't.
Does Josh
The Raiders
McDaniels,
don't know what England
does
looks like.
Josh McDaniels not have rings that he can throw on the table?
Rings?
Yes,
As a coordinator,
as a
We
coordinator.
are not even.
As a
he's doing
coordinator.
this, isn't he?
Let's not play this. Stupid
I'm
game.
telling you, dude. Robert
Lord.
Kraft is going to be loyal to him, and he's going to bring him in as the
He's
head
not going
coach.
to do it, dude. It's not going to happen.
Look, you've had a
Okay.
lot of crazy takes on this show.
Hey,
This one is up there.
you guys will find out the hard way 5 years from now. You know,
Well-
when nobody knows what's going to happen now, but you'll
Somebody
find out
clip
the hard
this
way.
for me. That'd be great.
Real quick, I'm glad you got your disappointments off the table. Mine will be a little quicker and shorter to the point, I
Well,
suppose.
What do you got?
No, it's not.
Yeah, mine is clearly the suckage of the Cincinnati Bengals so far, starting off 1-2,
This is my favorite.
and Joe
topic.
Burrow being sacked 15 times.
It's my
through 3
favorite
games,
topic.
and also your boy Joey Mixon
Joey
is
Mixon.
averaging under 3 yards a carry
Yep.
right now. Are you kidding me?
Samaje
And-
Perine is outdoing him.
And Jamar Chase is averaging 10 yards a catch. What the hell is going on right now in Cincinnati?
The Lux ran out,
And
dude.
the luck was there. It was.
Somebody lost the
I mean,
rabbit foot,
the
whatever
Rams-
it is.
Now,
and
do you guys remember the old stat about Super Bowl losers?
yes.
About what happens to them the next year following? They get that Super Bowl high and then the demise. This has that written all over.
Did I
it
not
right now.
tell you in the preseason that they would not make the playoffs? Did I not say that on this show?
I don't know. I have to go
That's
I
back.
don't
not the
remember
biggest
you-
disappointment
well,
for me because I told you, it
had,
would happen.
You had what the Ravens? You had the Browns.
I thought that Cincinnati would be like probably come in 3rd or 4th place in that division.
Well, my point of bringing them up is that we were supposed to be told going into the season how the old line was improved because they knew that was a problem. The Titans did sack him 9 times in one game in the AFC divisional round. And we're looking at this team right now, and yes, there is always that comeback moment, right? Where it's like the regression to the mean.
Regression to the mean. That's what
And
we're
that's the
looking for.
word. Well, Mixon's not going to average 3 yards a carry all year. Chase is not going to average 10 yards a catch. He's going to do better than that. Both of them will.
Correct.
And Joe Burrow is going to do better than 6-4, which is what he's at right now, touchdown interception ratio. But that does not mean that their record right now is necessarily going to be above 500. I see this team's potential to be like an 8-9 situation.
Not going to make the playoffs.
Where they could fold because you also have the Browns 2-1, Ravens 2-1, and towards the back end of the season, your boy Deshaun Watson will be coming back into play for the Browns, who will be in playoff contention for that 7 seed, I believe. Ravens should take this thing away.
Are we just
But-
writing off the Steelers? I think the Bengals
Look,
come in last.
I'm writing off the Steelers for you. Let's not get stupid here.
You might as well.
No,
the
I'm not-
Bengals
I'm
are going to
not
make the
getting into the
playoffs, then who
Steelers.
cares?
I'm not getting in the Steelers.
Just
with
give
you.
me a hot take.
I'm not doing it.
Give me a hot take.
You sounds like you're doing a hot take right now.
They're going to come in last place.
Steelers?
The
No, the
Bengals.
Bengals.
The Bengals. Okay, that's fine. Hey, I can get down with that. I'm just saying I'm writing off the Steelers to make the playoffs.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's fine.
I'll write
yeah,
that off right
I don't
here
give
and
a
now.
I
I'm
think
not
we're
even
all
debating
agreed
it.
on
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
talking
give a shit
about who's in the top of the AFC North right now. I see 2 teams right now that are better than the Bengals are right now by far.
AFC is too tough.
And yeah, the AFC is also very tough. I mean, Jacksonville's 2-1. I mean, the Titans right now are also a disappointment, of course. I mean, they were the
Yeah.
AFC winner last year.
But they lost a lot of
record-wise.
pieces too, though, coming to play.
The Titans aren't going to be a great team
No,
by any means,
yeah.
guys. I think their luck itself has run out in a lot of ways.
Titans. suck.
I love that Bengals
But-
take
Because the Bengals won,
so true.
guys. The thought was, well, they're going to come back and hot and fired, and yeah, T. Higgins looks good.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, he's made some good plays. But we expected Mixon to come in and step in and
But-
do well.
but what did
15
I-
sacks?
What did I compare them to in the preseason? I compared him, Joe Burrow and the Bengals, to Cam Newton and Cam Newton's MVP year. And Cam
Oh.
Newton made it to the Super Bowl and then didn't do shit the year after that, or for the rest of his career, for that matter.
This
Now, I'm not saying that about Joe Burrow. I think the Bengals are going to be fine in the long term.
Okay.
But
I see what you're
like,
saying.
yeah, but this year,
but
let's
it
we're
works
taking a break
because
from the
of the
Bengals.
hot and cold. The Bengals were a hot team at the right time.
Correct.
Yes,
And so now all that we're starting over even. You're going to kick it off cold. That's what they're doing.
Yep,
Now they could
exactly.
get hot at some point in the year, but it doesn't mean they're going to really matter when things do matter. So the Bengals are disappointed because people had expectations and the O-line is supposed to be better, and
That
it's
O-line's
not.
not a lot better.
And
at
Burrow's
all.
not playing great. He's playing slow. He's
He's got-
very, very slow.
Unlike last year where Mixon got off to a hot start. You got Samaje Perine. How do you say his name? Peering?
P. Ryan.
P. Ryan. Oh, yeah, that's right. P. Ryan.
He did put up 400 yards rushing against the KU Jayhawks one year. So just so
hey, that
you're
was
aware
before
of that.
we
He's
were.
got a lot of
Rocky,
ads
right
now in
that was
fantasy.
before
If
we
he's
were
available
4-0.
in your
I just
league,
wanted to remind you,
That was
400
before
yards rushing.
We were
from
4-0.
Samaje P. Ryan.
Granted, KU should be ranked before K-State. Anyways, guys, going to play here. I think it's just off to a very, very slow start for the offense. They're not going to be any good. I'm going to be simple with that. I do not like the Bengals. I didn't like them last year. Somebody lost their rabbit foot. Somebody lost a 4-leaf clover. It's gone, right? Somebody took it with them. It's not there anymore. They aren't going to get the same breaks they got last year.
But is this going to be like a bad Baccarat shoe where it goes streaky, where it's like the Bengals are going to be sucky for 3 or 4 weeks and then all of a sudden win 5 in a row?
No.
I mean,
maybe
there's a chance of that to happen.
Hold on. Actually, before I
it's
say
the Bengals. You and I have talked about this before, Mike, how that's a bad, like that organization is not ran very well.
No, it's not.
And so
It's not.
You know, it could be a scenario where they may not be good for a couple of years before they turn it around.
Give me a max win streak of 2 wins.
2 wins?
Max win streak of 2 wins.
If all they get is 2 wins over the whole year, color me.
No. Not total 2 wins. Just a streak. If you're going to talk about like a
streak.
back-to-back.
Yeah, they're going to come in last place.
2-win streak.
The Steelers
Right.
are going to be
Yeah,
a high.
if that's
have a
all they
higher win
get,
That's
record.
all they get.
all year, give me 7 and 10 for that team.
Yeah.
Yep.
But disappointment, guys. I mean, they are, to me, kind of. I know it's early. I know we're. Talking,
we're going to week 4.
it's
Let's be
early.
real.
Good news is the Chiefs don't have to worry about playing them in the playoffs.
Well, they
don't
were
have
our
to worry about
hey,
those assholes.
We lost to the damn Bengals twice last year, so
And again, with full-out luck of somebody dropping the ball. But real quick here, Dave on YouTube, thanks, man, for commenting in. He goes, Kraft may pass away in the brothel before Bill retires.
That's true.
So
Yeah, I will
that's
give
not
you
a lie,
that.
man.
Yeah, if he dies, then they're not going to bring in Josh McDaniels.
In the
apparently,
brothel too.
apparently Kraft can go to all the brothels and jerk off stations he wants and get away with it. It's fine. But you know,
Meanwhile, Deshaun
our
Watson,
boy
gets
Watson,
punished.
who's innocent.
As long as there's
It's punished.
cameras and videos, Kraft is fine as long as he gets recorded for it. So that's all that matters.
Ooh, putting together a little porno.
Yeah, that's what Kraft's all about. Side business, probably.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Well, I'm glad we got all that off of our chest today. But guys, we got one more topic to get with you back. Sports betting, of course, here is legal in Kansas, as I mentioned a little bit ago, and we've been kind of tracking that a little bit as we go. It's hard. It's difficult, especially this year. I feel like some years I'm very in tune with the NFL, and some years I'm very successful. This is one of those years that is very random, and I'm just like, what is going on with everything right now? And I'm not doing the best I could have been doing. Currently -5 on my picks as far as in the betting line. So just a little update on that at the moment. But guys, our sports betting topic, though, I am in the positive still, as I have been
By
every
how
single
much?
week. I'm up 2,500.
And just in betting.
And betting
Overall.
altogether.
Not your
NFL
your
games.
week to week stuff. Your
Not
just
the week to
overall
week.
betting.
No, I'm in the positive
That's
on
fine,
just
that's
my parlays.
I
'cause
believe that. Yeah.
I like to throw together parlays and take advantage of the system here and there. But guys, so what is your easy money pick of the week this week? Doesn't need to be a parlay. It can be just whatever your guarantee is, because we all told you last week, as a reminder out there, people listening, is that we had the Dolphins. Tanner, did we not have the Dolphins to beat? At least I did, to beat the Buffalo Bills.
We did.
And it happens. So that was one of my guarantees of the week, and I hit on that. So JG, what's you got going on, man?
Well, since you're going to let me go first, I'll give you guys a couple of picks. So, as you guys know, in Houston, I trust, because when I signed up for all my sports betting apps, I rode with Houston, and they never let me down in week 1 or week 2. So right now, they're playing at home against the Chargers. Chargers are -5.5. Okay, on the road. Keenan Allen, I mean, who knows if he's going to play? He's doing individual drills. We all know that Justin Herbert is banged up. The thing about Houston is they have been competitive in all of these games. They are likely going to win this game at home, although they are a 5.5-point dog. So that's going to be my easy money bet of the week is Houston to cover. And I will go ahead and give you another one here. The Jets at Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh is only favored by 3.5 at home. And I know you're out there saying, oh my gosh, Pittsburgh sucks. They're only 1-2. Dude, they're playing the Jets. And oh, by the way, guess who's going to play? Zach Wilson. Guys, Zach Wilson is not a good quarterback. He is, in fact, a bad quarterback. This is not going to be a close game. So that would be my second one that I would submit to you. I will take Pittsburgh to cover the 3.5 at home.
I like it a lot, actually. For mine, guys, I actually have a college bet for you guys. Going to play, not necessarily NFL.
Should I add this to my parlay?
You can if you want. I think it's a guarantee. Old Dominion money line plus 135 on DraftKings currently. Obviously, if you throw 10 in, you get 23 back, kind of way. Currently with Old Dominion, they are 2-2 on the season, but the 2 losses, they're going against Liberty, by the way. Sorry, they're going against Liberty at home. Old Dominion lost by 3 points, or they beat Arizona State by 3 points. They lost to Virginia by 2 points. Those are 2 back-to-back games there that are big-time schools going into play. Now you're going to go face a team like Liberty, who is pretty good, but I think Old Dominion here can actually take care of that money line and win the game here. It is a 3.5 swing for that, but give me Old Dominion at 130 plus 135.
Who are they playing against?
Liberty.
Old Dominion, Liberty.
Mm-hmm. And it's Old Dominion at home. That's what I like about it.
Interesting. Okay. Well, is that your pick of the week right there?
That's my pick of the week.
Okay. I have a couple of them here. NFL, once again. Now, not to steal a little bit from what we talked about, but as of what I just looked at, as a matter of fact, my minor one that I would say place your bets on is the Patriots to cover 10.5 against Green Bay. I like that pick quite a bit.
With or without Mac Jones?
Doesn't matter to me.
Don't matter.
Doesn't matter to me whatsoever.
They're going to run the ball all fucking day.
Yeah, they're going to run the ball. Ramondre Stevenson should probably be your running back, by the way, Jason, for this week.
Thank
he's
you
going
for
to be
that.
getting
You don't like Harris?
quite a bit. I like Stevenson in this situation. He's just kind of a pounder. But it's going to make sense. And I think that also the Patriots, first of all, you're working with Belichick. He's going to find a way to at least keep the game close. I'm not guaranteeing they're going to win, but guys, if you win by 11 points in the NFL, it's a blowout. And I don't see the Patriots getting blown out in this game against Green Bay. I think they're going to keep it close, and Green Bay's struggling offensively at times. So I think that's going to be something to watch unfold, but I like that one. But my favorite one is without a doubt the Cardinals at Carolina. Cardinals are +2 underdogs in this
plus
situation.
1.5 now.
Plus 1.5. I don't care. I have them winning the game. And the Cardinals, to me, are just an easy one in this situation. It's a team that's really ready to be unleashed in a lot of ways. And you got a quarterback who has just got a lot of big play potential versus one who has a lot of big turnover potential. And obviously that'd be your boy Baker Mayfield. And CMC, once again, dealing with injury issues. Surprise.
I think he's fine, though.
He's probably fine.
I didn't see nothing that was like, I think it was just something small. Nothing major.
Yeah,
it's always something small.
It's not worth to be on the injury
It's
report
always
for.
something small.
It's not worth being on the injury
When's the
report.
guy going to get on the damn field and play football?
He's
on
play a whole season one day.
That's where he's at.
But
I
love
like
those.
Arizona.
I love those 4 picks that we just did. In fact, I think I want to go all in on all 4 of those games that we just
What was your pick
discussed.
again?
Yeah.
I've got Pittsburgh to cover at home -3.5, and I've got
Against
Houston to cover at home. Who are
Against the Chargers?
Chargers are
So,
-5.5.
I don't know if I would go the Houston route. I just don't know because I just don't. It's risky for me.
That's a
They're
big
just
one.
competitive in all their games, man.
I know.
They
And
really
I know
are.
and Herbert's hurting. You know, he's feeling it.
Hurting
It's-
Herbert.
He is hurting. He's hurting big time.
Yeah, if you guys do bet the Cardinals game that Mike produced here, don't bet the 1.5. Bet the money line at plus 100.
Yes. Screw the 1.5. Just bet them to win.
Just
straight
wait,
up.
you don't believe in that Project QB?
But I like your Patriots pick because if Bill Belichick can't cover 10.5, then he should probably be fired. They're going to be calling for his head at that point if he can't even keep that damn game.
Yeah, I'm not even that
close.
concerned about Mac Jones, whether he plays or not. It's more just knowing him as a coach. I just don't see him allowing that to happen. I think defensively they're step up.
Hey, so defense right here. Nick Bodkins of the Bodkins Show just got done with his show, guys. Go check it out. He goes down week 4 with Dan Brosnan as a preview going to play. But he just said Texans are 3-0 against the spread this season.
That's what they do. That's why I made so much money. I won all of my free bets doing that.
Right, the
betting on
spread because they've won 2 games, right?
They're one
they
they had a tie, so they had a tie.
That's right.
Yeah,
the
they're 0-2-1.
Okay, and the tie. So
0-2-1 for record.
They're not that bad of a team, dude. They're due for a win.
I mean, my deal is the Pittsburgh game. I don't know if I necessarily trust that without TJ Watt there.
Right, TJ Watt makes a big impact.
Because Zach Wilson,
nobody
comes
in
back.
their right mind.
You don't have a statue of Joe Flacco anymore. So
Nobody in their right
Wilson
mind is going to pick the Jets to cover. Okay, no, unless you're a fool. Like that's not going to happen.
All right, guys, what do you have? So how about this one? Because obviously I just talked about the Cardinals game, and I fully believe they're going to beat the Panthers. Thursday night football. I can't wait for this game personally. I'm excited. Dolphins at Bengals. Dolphins are right now underdogs 3.5. Is that still correct? 3.5
plus 3.5.
I mean, to me, I'm like, man, I'm
Ooh.
all over the Dolphins.
My mouth is watering.
The
for
money
that.
line is plus 155 right now for the Dolphins.
Wow,
I am all
dude.
over the Dolphins on that.
Give
I
me the-
love that.
Give
I
me the
love
Dolphins. Everybody's going for Cincinnati.
And we
Or
just
everybody's
talked about it.
The Dolphins are heavily favored as a consensus, but right now, if you're looking at it here, the Bengals are everybody's starting to swing the Bengals way.
We just talked about it, dude. The Bengals could literally be imploding as we speak.
Right.
Like it could be
But
over.
But I'm saying you guys already know I like the Dolphins defense. Going against the Bengals now, it's like, man, I love the pass rush situation that could be unfolding there and getting pressure on.
Wasn't
Joe
it like
Burrow.
7 out of 8? The Dolphins won 7 out of 8 games
Oh,
to close out the season with
last year.
Brian Flores last year.
Yep.
With that elite defense that they had.
Right.
Now all of a sudden they have a good offense.
I'm going back.
Why would you not?
I'm
going to
find the footage where I just randomly told you guys the Dolphins are going to be the team this coming season, and here we are.
Dolphins are 3-0 against the spread this season. The Bengals are 1-2 against the spread. If you want to look at it that way. Also, so this did swing a little bit, not enough to make a majority, but 57% consensus is with Miami, 43% with Cincinnati. So that did move. It was actually in the 60s, but now they're in the 50s.
So my only concern with Miami would be the fact that they're 3-0 and they just beat the Buffalo Bills, and then you're kind of thinking, okay, they're going to have one game where they just come back down to earth.
Waddle's banged up, Tua's banged up. That a lot of that team's banged up.
And I can
such
see
a big game.
I can see
and
that.
I think that's why.
But we all know that the Dolphins are the better team. Doesn't mean they're going to win,
Correct.
but they are the better team.
So something to keep an eye on, right? On
I
the whole
assume
Tua
so. Did they
situation.
so obviously I know it's a Thursday game. Did they get to Cincinnati like immediately because of the hurricane situation?
Yeah, I think they got up there
Just
early.
basically like right after that last game to get up there.
Yeah,
just to get out of the state.
Which to me, because Miami didn't really get hit with much, like when Tampa Bay just go down to Miami and keep the Florida fans in. But that's just me. Anyways, so
the NFL.
Something to keep an eye on too on this plus 3.5. If it does swing more up in Bengals' favor, we got to watch for it because that means possibly Tua in that whole concussion situation deal they're working on could mean a thing. But right now, it sounds like all points towards him playing.
Yeah, I
can
see.
I like that 3.5, which means they could still lose by a field goal and still get a win on that money line or that spread line. So
I can't remember what my bet on that one because I did put that. I did bet the Dolphins right away. I did that. Oh, DraftKings has that. Get up seven, you win your bet.
Right.
So I threw 25 down on the Dolphins.
I'm just telling you.
I like that.
I'm telling you, my theme so far this season is bet on Houston. In Houston, we trust.
Well, at some point, it's going to backfire on you a little bit because I mean,
it's not going to happen this week. They're 0-2-1. It's not going to happen this week.
It's not a great team.
It's my easy money bet of the week. It's easy money.
All right.
You
guys heard mine.
I'll go the Houston one over the Pittsburgh one.
You guys heard mine. Mine is Cardinals to beat the Panthers. Screw the +2. Just go for them to win. And then my other one, which is probably a little less, is just the Patriots to cover that 10.5 against Green Bay. So that's what I got going for myself, anyways. But
yeah, that's that one. Okay.
What else do you guys have left to share today?
I don't know, Jason. What do you got?
No, I'm with you on that New England game for sure. Like I might actually bet on that one because that's such a big spread. And like I said, the Patriots are going to run the ball up their ass all game long and run the clock. So.
I think as soon as we're done here, I'm going to sit on that couch over there and make a parlay myself.
Let's get on DraftKings. We'll make that bet and then we'll play Baccarat.
Oh, I played Baccarat today.
I'm sure
already, so it was great.
I played blackjack. That was a great time.
It was a great old time here with the Buffoon Clan.
I'm not going to place any bets until we get closer, so I can get some of the promos, the bonuses going to play.
I'm going to open up this pickle shot one more time. I only took a little sip of it, guys, so I'll do that. Just leave it out here for a little aroma.
30 cases of pickles.
A little aroma here in the downstairs basement.
30 cases of pickles, guys.
Big pickle for you guys. So
like shit.
We'll talk Chiefs here later on, obviously. We'll get to that within some of the Settling the Kingdom show and some of the breakdown of the Chiefs and Buccaneers game, what to look forward to, and to see if Julio Jones will play. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't matter if he plays or not. Chiefs can't beat the Chiefs. So we will get back to that and figuring out what the Chiefs need to do to take care of their own business instead of worrying about other teams necessarily, because they didn't do that last week.
No.
Get the special teams figured out, and then we're back on track.
Who was it? Matt Wright filling in for kicker? And Butker, by the way, Butker is starting to kick a little bit.
Amendola?
No, Amendola got cut.
I know. Matt Wright? Oh, the
new kicker.
Well, Butker practiced today.
Yeah.
Butker should be ready to go for the game.
I heard he's not going to go this week.
To me, if he doesn't go, Justin Reed should be the guy.
Yeah, they're going to roll with Justin Reed, I'm telling you.
They're going to roll with Matt Wright, I think is his name. Well, Jacksonville guy.
They made the wrong choice to begin with, so.
Yeah, I can't find it now. But yeah, Matt Wright, I think that's the plan is Butker sits out another game and then Wright takes over. So one more week of hopefully just one more week of backup.
All right. Well, guys, I am fulfilled here. RIP once again to Coolio. And, well.
I think it's only right to finish out with this video, right?
We might as well.
Hey, guys, go check out Let's Talk Sports tomorrow. Pre-game show Thursday. I'll be on Thursday night after the Thursday game with Carlos, Smoking Jeremy B. So go check it out, guys.
Buffoons, we're out.
See y'all on the next one.
See you guys.
You want to tell me what this is all about?
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Me be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of. You better watch how you're talking and where you're walking, or you and your homies might be lying to chalk. I really hate the trip, but I gotta low. As they croak, I see myself in the pistol smoke. Fool, I'm the kind of G the little homies wanna be like, on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light.